wildlife of these coasts decreasing and hiding away a bit more. For example, the beadlet anemones, known for their vibrant red tentacles that they use to eat their prey, sort of caving or stay more ready to move throughout these colder waters, withstanding all the wind. In addition to the anemone population shrinking, we also see many of the fish such as rock gobies and the blennies returning back to the deeper, warmer oceans at this time of year, leaving the rock pools. We also see that with the crabs who have retreated further towards the sea and into the depths where it is warmer. However, this correlation does not last for all living things on this coast, as many limpets and snail populations continue to increase in size with predators missing. For example, the snails along these rocks currently, they cover almost every surface. It is impossible to take a step without hearing the crack of a snail's shell underfoot. Despite my prior comments about the lack of beadlet anemones along this coast, that is in fact only true in certain areas. For example, the crack that I currently find myself in is lined with about 100 beadlet anemones along the walls here, showing that they will constantly strive for this area of shelter in these colder, windier months, even if that shelter is almost further away from their natural water and rock pool habitats. I found this, a dead sea urchin shell, and to be perfectly honest, this made me quite happy. Now you may be wondering, Daniel, why would a dead sea urchin make you happy? It's how the sea urchin that has died that has made me happy. This has been dissected, the insides carved out, most likely by something with claws, most likely a crab. Now, the size of it means it would have to have been quite a large crab. This suggests that the crab population along the North Yorkshire coast is returning, obviously after the Teesside tragedy in 2021. In addition to this, there are also changing algal patterns to the ones I saw at Saltburn in the summer. We see here more reddish, smaller macroalgae along the rocks and in the rock pools, with a lot less vibrancy and green due to adaptations allowing this type of algae to last longer in the colder, windier environments to the traditional green that you'd expect to see along this form of coastline. Quite a lot of this despite being so close to the Holderness coastline, which is the fastest eroding coastline in Europe, these shale cliffs do not erode at a quick rate at all, being only 4 centimetres, which is almost 100 times less than other places such as Hornsea, where we see much quicker erosion. Here, along this coastline, with the erosion and full effects, we can see some rarities in nature. For example, this rockpool beneath me, you may think, oh, that's obviously man-made. You can't have a rockpool of such an exquisite nature, square-esque. You'd be wrong in that assumption. This is completely natural. It is honestly quite stunning how the geometrical world links in with nature and how such rarities can exist in the true beauty of Mother Nature. Here at Staithes, we have been able to identify a few major differences to Saltburn. For example, the Rockpools, even at these months, are a lot more vibrant and healthy due to the more shade-sheltered nature of this bay. Also, we see that there's far larger amount of marine life here, with more anemones and stuff, but also comparison from earlier in the seasonal cycle, where in summer there's obviously a lot more vibrancy about it, a lot more fish, a lot more hermit crabs, and a lot more crabs. Overall, Staithes is obviously a far better rockpooling location with far more info, far more geographical info, far more geological and archaeological info, with the fossils, the wonderful cliffs and vibrant marine life. So overall, would highly recommend. Obviously probably best not to do on a very windy, cold winter's day like today, but maybe sometime in the summer, get yourself over here, bring a bucket, see what cool marine nature you can find. So that about sums up today's video. I do hope you enjoyed. If you have, please consider liking and subscribing, it helps. And if you are a fellow marine nature enthusiast, please comment some of your favourite rock pooling sites and I may check them out in the future.